Alright guys, so we're back in the world of Where Winds Meet. In today's video, I'm going to be going over a handful of mistakes, probably about 7 or 8 mistakes I still see people making in the game right now that could be slowing down their progress in the game. We have a few days before our next breakthrough, which are going to give us an additional 5 max levels. I want to make sure by the time we get to about 60, where things really start to change, you're still not making some of the key mistakes that I still see a lot of players making. Now, before we dive into the video, I did want to give you guys a massive thank you for all the recent support here on the channel. I really appreciate the comments, the hanging out in the chat, and the kind words from all of you here on the channel, so I really appreciate that. I do want to give a little bit back to the community, so what I'm doing here on the channel is a outfit giveaway. All you need to do is leave a like, comment, and of course be subscribed to the channel. And this weekend, just check the community tab for the winner. Once you respond, I'll add you as a friend and gift you the outfit. Of course, I'm not going to be doing any of the gacha outfits, but any of the base outfits, feel free to request it and I'll gift it to you. Just one of the ways I want to say thank you guys for all the recent support. And with that said, let's dive into the video. Alright, so the first big mistake I still see players are still making right now is they're not using all the available vendors in the game. There are a mountain of vendors in the game that resets on a daily basis that will give you valuable resources for upgrading your character. And I'm going to point out a few of them so that you guys know exactly who you should be getting these resources from and not losing out. So we're here in the game. Head over to your shops, come over here to your offers, go to the exchange shop and go to your seasonal shop. So this is a shop that you should be getting maxed out. This is going to reset every Sunday and you want to make sure that you're getting them. These escalating jades are very important. Obviously picking up these martial art tips for advancing your breakthroughs are very important. The inner ways, these are going to be some of the hardest things to get in the game to advance, so of course you definitely want to pick these up. Same with this other inner way chest. This of course actually goes to gear chest. There's an opportunity for you to pick up gear chests, which we're going to talk about in just a second. Don't miss out on these gear chests because they can be of value. And of course, as we get higher and higher, there's going to be gear chests that could be of value here that you need to pick up. 71 is going to be the max level. So yeah, these are also something that's super important. I personally always pick up the career notes to advance my lawyer stuff. I don't think this is as important if you're not into this kind of stuff, but I do think it's worth it. And then of course, this is on a weekly basis where you can use 200 jades to get your melody for a gacha pool. Of course, there's some outfits here. I actually didn't buy this just yet, so I'm gonna purchase this right now. So yeah, make sure you get all these items here in this shop. Another important vendor is located here in Kaifeng. You should have the Kaifeng region open. And this vendor here is in the landmark shop. He's one of the landmark shops here in the city. And just to go over a couple of things that he brought, he sells, and I bought from him: blue jades, these thingamabobbers, cold iron, Dushan jades, and fat tail sheepskin. I even got some fire arrows from him a few times as well. The enhanced is going to take a few of these to enhance this, and as we continue to break through, you're going to need some of this. I'm not saying you need to max this shop out, but what I am saying is there is a vendor here that is worth checking out, and as you can see here, it does reset on a every Sunday. While not necessarily on a weekly basis, there is a smuggling clerk here that will sell you some good stuff as well. Make sure you check him out. He will give you a bunch of inner way notes, and he will give you a lingering melody for 80,000 coin. This is actually pretty decent. Also some dyes. I know people like dyeing their stuff, so he will give it to you. You just need to come up here to this guy here, and there's like a guard on the outside. I'll see if I still have the footage of it, but you just bribe one of the guards on the outside for like non-existent coin and the guards won't bother you. And this guy comes usually around the, I believe it's called the woo hour, the 12 o'clock basically, and he'll be here all the time. Another not weekly merchant, but this guy here as well, he spawned here in the Harbor Link crossing, will also give you the ability to get more items. You can see here we're going to have the ability to pick up some morale chant here for 2,000 jades. We'll get 10 of them for 2,000 jades once we reach I believe it is rank 6 in solo mode. So again, this is another vendor to check out. Again, not weekly, but someone to check out. And then of course the honest merchant. This is the guy you got the drunken poet from. You can come over here and get stuff from him. One thing to keep in mind when it comes to this guy is he sells these wines on a weekly basis and they reset, on a daily basis and they reset rather. And the reason why you want to pick these up or should consider picking these wines up is because they'll give you the option to get black market goods, which can give you some really cool stuff. Also, you do have a chance to get, it's hard to explain. I don't know if I have footage of it because that haven't happened to me here on this server. But if you ever played a game like Diablo 3, Maybe it was in the Diablo 2 as well, or 4. But anyway, there's like a treasure realm you can go to sometimes. Like if you get drunk and you go to sleep, there's a treasure realm that you can go to. I'll see if I can find some footage for it. But if you pass out sometimes and you drink all his stuff, you'll sometimes go to the treasure realm, and that treasure realm is actually pretty decent for giving you some like resources and stuff. Now next, let's talk about recycling items, because we're going to get to a point where crafting is going to be something you're going to be doing a lot of. I even see some players salvaging some pieces of items that are super important. I did this a few times while yapping and not paying attention, and these are level 41 gears. You can tell which ones I'm referring to because it has this purplish marker here, and essentially what this is used for is whenever you're upgrading your gear, there are 3 slots here on the left that represents the ability to gain affixes. If you do this naturally without gear like this, it will give you a random affix chance that can range from common all the way up to legendary, but it's very inconsistent as can be any of those rarities. If you use the purple mark gear, this gear essentially guarantees that at the very minimum, the roll will be of epic quality. So if you take a look, right now I have double legendary on some of this gear. One rolled a base legendary because I just got lucky, and then I was able to roll a purple, and then I got a legendary on it because I used this method. But unfortunately, this is only a temporary gear for now, since we're going to be swapping it probably in the next couple of days or so. But nonetheless, just make sure you're not salvaging this gear. You can recycle the other ones, the ones below level 41, but for this gear, make sure you're saving it because this is good for upgrading and giving you these affixes, especially in the near future. Piggybacking off of more progression based things, let's talk about your stamina system in pillow powders. We've talked about this numerous times here on the channel, from the ultimate beginner guides all the way up to I wish I knew sooner guide that we did recently, but it goes without saying, I still highly recommend not using these pillow powders until we get closer to the cap. At this time of recording the ultimate beginner guides, I was on the CN server. When I played it, I was like level 91, but right now I think the max we're going to be seeing is level 71. This means that we should start seeing legendary gear around the 60 mark, and so it's probably in your best interest to continue to save these pillow powders for using it whenever you actually want to round out your gear in the future when legendary become available, and this is like more of your permanent gear. Now if you have used a few of these, it's not the end of the world. Your account isn't bricked like some people would like you to believe, but just make sure you're not overusing these, because again, we're getting closer to refining our gear, and we want to make sure that we have some of these in reserve to maximize for tougher content. And of course, like I said in the I wish I knew sooner video, make sure your energy isn't capped out. It gives you a pretty good estimate of time when that will be full. Make sure that you're not letting the energy build up past that cap. Again, I know I said this multiple times in the last week, but I just want to make sure some players are not making this mistake. Another thing I'm noticing from players is they're still not joining a guild yet. I know this game is a bit overwhelming when it comes to, you know, going online and doing things like that, and we're all still doing a lot of the single player mode. I don't interact with my guild as much as I honestly should be doing, but there are a mountain of rewards associated with joining a guild. For example, there are weekly bonuses that will give you some things for just doing the things you're already doing, like jades, wonder jades, which can actually be used to give yourself guild techniques, mountains of XP, gold, commencement coins, and even items like, for example, free chance to repair or chances to gain additional adventure slip bonuses, maximum HP bonuses, attack speed bonuses, trial damage reduction, and increased HP. Long story short, there's a lot of benefits and bonuses for being a part of a guild, and while right now you probably haven't missed out on too much, if you keep putting it off, there is some guild bonuses that you're going to miss out on. I'm not going to fearmonger you and say it's the end of the world. I don't do that, but you will be missing out on something that otherwise could actually have some positive effect on your account. It's not really much more effort to be in a guild anyway. You just get resources for simply doing the things you're already doing anyway. Another mistake I see players making, and this one I'm a little bit reluctant to say because I know not everyone necessarily likes the PvP, but at the very minimum, I will point it out. The Battle Royale mode, which is very equalized, is a very fun gameplay mode, and each of the modes actually give you a pretty good amount of reward for participating. For example, you will have the ability to get melodies, which are gacha pulls, as well as the ability to get a ton of jades, and depending on how you queue in, you can get more and more. So for example, if you do solo queue, you can get your own set. Duo queue will also get their own set, and then the flex queue will also get a set of jades. These jade bonuses actually add up to a pretty solid amount of jades, and of course you can get unique titles as well, which is a little bit nice bonus for those who really like PvPing. Again, I know not everyone is a fan of PvP, and that's completely fine, but at the very minimum, at least know these are here. And speaking of combat for jades and gacha pulls, I did want to point out that in the open world, there are combat trials that are NPCs that you fight. They will give you jades as well as melodies for more more gacha pulls, so make sure you're facing off against them. They do have minimum requirements though. In the next coming days, the level 51 versions should be unlocking, so you can go do those. Last but not least, and arguably the most important tip I can actually give today, is that players are making the mistake of not having fun. I know this one is a bit of a cliche thing to say, but I have noticed a lot of discourse with players saying, oh, you're not playing legend mode, or this guy I watched had parry assist on, or this other guy is playing with story mode on, or this weapon is better than this weapon. Look guys, at the end of the day, players play the game to how they want, and they do it to have fun. Most, if not all of you guys, including myself, actually have jobs, we have families, and sometimes it's nice to go home, turn off your brain, and just have some fun. Don't get me wrong, I will be min-maxing my build and, trying different builds out for the most part, because I do enjoy that aspect of the game. But at the end of the day, guys, just try to have some fun. Of course, I'm not your father, I'm not here to lecture you about anything, but I'm just saying, guys, let's have a little bit of fun. And there you have it, guys. That is several mistakes I still see people making to this day. Things that I think are important to point out. Whether you correct them or not, it's probably not going to be that consequential to your gameplay for the most part. But if you do, it will make gameplay progression much better and smoother on your character. Let me know down in the comments if there's something I may have missed or something you'd like to add to give players a little bit more tips or help in their progression. As always, guys, I live stream here on YouTube as well as Twitch almost every single day. So if you want to come and hang out at the chat, ask some questions, vibe with the channel, whatever the case is, feel free to come by and do so. I do greatly appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out. As always, don't forget to like as well as subscribe to the channel. Subscribing does help me out a massive amount. So if you actually want to help support the channel, the best you can do is actually subscribe right now. Don't forget to enter in on the giveaway. Keep a lookout for the community tab. And just like that, young masters, I'll see you in the next one very soon.